Hello, this is Margot Clark, and I'm going to show you today talking about mud lilies. With these little snippets that I do, I like to show maybe some things that people are having some problems with. And I had one lady named Jeannie tell me that she just couldn't manage, even with my worksheets and things, to get these mud lilies quite right. So that's what I'm going to do today. And the packet that we're talking about, number 216, is creating mud lilies, but it's also your end result is going to be this beautiful silver leafed box, which could also have some antiquing on it. Hopefully you can see that really well. But the mud lilies can also be used, of course, all by themselves. So what I'm going to show you is how to create, let me have a little stick here, how to create these petals and how to create these little small ones, because basically that's what the whole thing is made up of. And in this packet, I'm just going to go through it real quick. You can see the whole design here done with all of these things. And it's basically, like I've always said before, I only do three things: dots, lines, and dribble, catch, and pull. So mainly these are going to be dribble, catch, and pull, and some dots, and this one would be lines. Today we're just going to concentrate on these and these little small things. And then I show you too what to do with these things that I'm going to show you. Let's move this up just a little bit. Here we've got some borders that are going along the edge of the box. And again, these are basic leaves, and then these are just what I'm going to be showing you today. End result showed you on the box, and some antiquing. So that's partially what's in there. You also get pattern and this worksheet. I'm going to kind of use the worksheet and go back and forth and kind of show you what I'm talking about when I'm doing this. Also, I've done a step-by-step with showing you 1, 2, 3, which ones go first, 4, 5, 6. So what I'm going to show you today is how I'm going to do that. Also gave you a whole sheet, let's turn that sideways, of just all kinds of different variations so that you can use this on something else. I don't want you to ever just buy a packet from me and only ever do that. I want you to learn how to do these things and then apply them to a lot of other surfaces. So let's begin. All right, so normally, and I tell you this in this packet, what I like for you to do is to learn to do them freehand. All right, this is a pretty intricate pattern. So best this time that you learn to do the construction. And because I'm going to cover this over with navy blue paint, and then I'm going to come back and leaf it, I can draw that whole design on or transfer it on with white graphite, because it's all going to get covered up. But if you're doing a Christmas ornament or something like that, you don't have that option. Those lines are going to show, so you need to understand what the construction is. And I also want to make a mention very quickly that what I'm using, in case you haven't seen this before, is mud and medium. Those are my two things. Margot's Miracle Brush and my handy dandy storage kit. All right. Mud is made by my company, Unique Glass Colors, and it's a texture medium that can kiln fire or be air dried. So what I'm going to show you today could also be kiln fired. If you're going to do that, I would recommend that you use 2 pieces of glass. On the bottom piece of glass, use our NT11014 navy. On the top piece of glass, do the design that I'm doing, and then fuse the two together. All right, let's get started. So, I guess my friend Jeannie says, I just am having a problem with those things. Just can't get them. So off to the side here, I'm going to put a little bit of medium. Medium is what I use to dress my brush. Does a couple of things. Medium is what we also, Unique Glass Colors, we make fired glass color, and so this is what we mix our colors with to make them liquid. What I'm going to do here, let's move that over just a bit so you can see, is I'm dressing my brush in it. Because it's a little stickier, it will hold the bristles together in this brush. Okay, so I've got, and here, it stays in this nice little ridge, so I'm good to go. I'm also, when I take it out of the storage, I test to make sure that it's coming out properly. I don't want a big glob of it or something that I wasn't quite expecting. So let me see. Oh, we're good, I think. All right, so watch now. Basically, this is a leaf. So about halfway down, up, point, all the way out and stop. Down, point, down, point, down, point. Again, you're about halfway down, so stop. Make sure you put that tip back into that wet sponge so that it doesn't dry out on you. Okay, here, right there, is where that's attached to the stem. So, as in all flowers that I do, that's where I'm going to pull back to. So, can you see me? I've got that brush on a chisel edge. See that chisel edge that I've got there? Okay. I'm going to use the chisel edge and I'm going to cut down towards that center. Don't mess up your nice little points that you created. Grab mud from there and pull it down. All right. Keeping in mind always where that where it's attached to the stem. All right, done. All right, so then I tell you number 2. All right, I'm right-handed. Huh? What if I did that one first? Makes no difference. Just gives you an idea that you're going to put that middle one in first, then you're going to come back and add some side ones. All right, so again, halfway down. Don't go all the way down to the bottom or you'll have way too much product. I'm going to 1, 2, 3, out. Don't touch that. Back down, 2, 3, 4, about halfway down. All right, I'm going to go back to the palette and I'm going to make sure that my brush has a chisel edge. See that I can go back up to that little bit of medium that was left up there. And again, I'm going to cut it down towards that area, making sure that you can see me. And don't touch your points. Now watch, when you get right here, grab that and pull it over the top. Can you see? There's my highlight. All right, let's pull that in. All right, and I don't care if it's absolutely solid. I want some of that background to show through because that's where your shading comes from. All right, 3. Okay, about halfway down. 1, 2, 3, out. And here, that is going to indicate these little tips, the direction of the petal. Okay, and come down. All right, make sure I've got a chisel edge and cut, 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 cut. Again, grab that white mud right there. Come over just enough so, a little more medium there. I'm on a painted cardboard, so it's going to suck just a little bit more of the moisture out of there as opposed to wood or something else. All right, so now I've got overlapping petals, and the overlap came from just pulling this extra bit of mud down over the top of that, and now you see that that one's in the back, these two are on the top. Now, because the bottom rows, I have them showing as the center's tucked down in there, so you can't actually see that center all that well, all of it. So now, to make a nice finished edge, is start right here and make sure that you're going. All right. Have a nice smile. I call that a nice, isn't that a nice smile? You have to think about that. It's a smile. All right, then I tell you that I'm doing number 4. So I'm going to turn it this way. Now don't dilly-dally. This stuff dries fairly quickly, starts to set up. So you don't want to be messing around and talking to your friend or something and then find out that your smile has dried. Okay. So I'm going to, again, where's my center? I'm going to pull towards that center, pull that edge, and meet the edge of my smile. Come back up, and now I'm in the right direction. And can you see these odd things here? Am I close enough? Let me lift that up if I'm not. All right, this is why you can't use chalk pencils and lines and things. 3, 4, or what is that? 1, 2, 3. You can 4. You can see through it. This is why you don't be drawn all over the place. You want to learn to do this freehand. All right, let's do number 5. Extend that 2 out, back up, point in. Don't go all the way in though. You want to give yourself a little room to let that mud fade off. Okay, cut, 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 cut. Cut, and this is gentle. Don't get carried away. Gentle cuts. All right. And then last but not least, it's going to be this one. 1, 2, 3. Out we go. Don't touch it. Back down part way. There's no rhyme or reason to how many little pointy things you have. They're just pointy things. Up to you. Now this time we're going to come straight up, and then this one's going to curve that way slightly. This one's going to curve that way slightly. Make sure you got a nice curve on there. We go. All right, and let's turn her back right side up. You've got one of the flowers that is shown, and if you see here, the back is a little bit darker, which is it should be, because they're bigger. I had longer to drag the mud. The front ones, oops, are a little bit more dense, more opaque, because I didn't have quite as far to pull. Now, one of the flowers on here is got extra petals. So you say, okay, I want to vary this. So you say, all right, then all I have to do is go 1, 2, 3, keep your direction, 4, 5, 6. Make sure that you're chiseled. And where's your center? Down in here. So you ever so gently head in that direction. You can wait till those other ones are dry, or you can just simply be careful. And you see how you can change that? Now it's just a fuller lily. All right, well, let's finish it. All right, let's just finish it. Depends on how many petals it gets, how much room I have. Okay. And again, all right. Cut into where it's going to attach to the stem. Now you're not actually going to touch it, you're just heading in that direction. Okay, and there you have. You have a mud lily. All right, I normally would wait for this to dry before I put the centers in, but this is all that I'm going to do because I don't want to run into my smile. I'm going to put a dot and do these one at a time. Don't think, oh, I'm going to put all my dots in and then I'll pull these in. They start to dry, they're not going to be nice. Again, I got to be on the chisel edge because as I showed in the 3-dot clusters, I'm going to use the very corner of that brush and I'm going to just touch that the top of that little ball, and I'm going to head towards the center. Don't touch the center. Then do one, and again, make sure that you got a good chisel edge. Head towards that center. Maybe one on the other side. You want them going out, or you want them all coming in. Up to you. Just be consistent. So we'll tuck that in. Oh, I think I have room for one more over here. All right. Don't touch the smile. Lift before you get to the smile. And there you've got a nice mud lily all completed. All right. I'm going to take just a second. Rinse out my brush. Now, in essence, this is simply a big leaf. I've just put a lot of big leaves together to create a lily. If I tell you that it's a lily with all these pointy things, you say, oh, it's a lily. If I take them apart and do one at a time, you say, oh, look at that nice leaf. So all I ever do with my mud techniques is I am combining those three things: leaves, lines, dots. Everything turns into something else. Now, of course, should have done that second, shouldn't I? So let's try to see if I can do that without sticking my arm in the lily. Here's some of these little, let's see if I can find these on here. Where's my pretty one? Well, I don't want to take the time. This is going to be one of the little combination leaves, all right? So you saw me do the big lily. So let's get a little closer here, and let's see if I can. Oh, look at there. Let's get a little bit closer on this guy because it's a little bit smaller so you can really, really see. Alrighty, so here I've got it written out. This is what you can follow or tell yourself what's going on. But watch what I'm doing, and then I'll do this one too. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. They can be rounded, they can be pointed, doesn't matter. You're just suggesting a leaf. All right. Then again, you can see where that leaf is going, the stem. So I'm going to catch that chisel edge. I don't have to fill in the stem, but I do have to head in that direction. All right. So that my and they don't want any lines to overlap there. Keep them nice and neat. Alrighty, then I'll do a second one. I never put the little dots in until afterwards. I've got to see what I'm going to have first. Okay, and that one's got a couple. Again, these tips are going to indicate the direction of the leaves. So are you following a certain direction? Are they just loose? I mean, what's going on with them? So that's kind of up to you. Oop, lost my point. So we'll just pull it up a little bit. There we go. Now I'll turn it slightly. Turn it so that's easy for you. 1, 2, 3, because I want this all kind of going in that direction. And 1. You see there, I never go all the way down, only halfway down. Otherwise, you've got way too much product at the bottom to have to deal with. All right, and pull them in the direction of the stem. And if every time you do that, eventually the stem kind of builds up some color. All right, again, I would let this dry just a little bit before I did the second part, but